whether or not your name is inside there. Coming up at 4, Governor Fubara was denied access to the State Assembly quarters. That conversation makes up our 4 o'clock hour. I'll have the Commissioner for Information join me as a guest to break down all that needs to be broken. And the Supreme Court has cleared the path for the EFCC. And after that, it's open season. You ready? Let's do it.
Strict compliance to safety rules and regulations help save lives and
because that's the best place to start. The president of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, IPU, Tulia Axon, has assured the embattled Kogi Central lawmaker, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, that due process will be followed in addressing the concerns surrounding her suspension from the Senate. Ms. Axon's assurance came in response to Senator Natasha's appeal for intervention by the IPU and the United Nations over what she termed as an unjust suspension from the Nigerian Senate. Speaking at the Women in Parliament session during the IPU on Tuesday, the Kogi senator recounted her ordeal, stating that her suspension was politically motivated and aimed at silencing her. She had a whole lot more to say, but it's better if you hear it directly from her.
On the 6th of March 2025, I was suspended. As a senator, I was suspended illegally because I submitted a petition of sexual harassment against the President of the Nigerian Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio. I thought that by submitting the petition, he would recuse himself of the Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Petition for a fair and transparent investigation. But unfortunately, I was silenced and I was suspended. I was suspended for 6 months, amongst many other stringent conditions, such as taking away my security, taking away all the officials' vehicles and other items that were handed over to me as a senator. My salaries will be cut off. I must not appear anywhere near the national forces. I'm not to introduce myself or present myself as a senator locally in Nigeria or internationally. That means I'm here illegally, but I had no other place to go but to come here and speak to you women, because this is a bigger picture. This is a bigger picture. It depicts the crisis of women political representation.
Okay. There was a whole lot more to say, but that captured the essence of it. Natasha making that presentation at the IPU and calling on the body and the United Nations to intervene on the matter. So what once was a problem has become chaos. Now, everything she said is true. She accused the Senate President of sexual harassment. She was suspended for 6 months. Her privileges were taken away. There's nothing she said that does not conform with the reality that we discuss right here on radio, and which is the truth. But my position is not about truth or lies. It is about our image. And she started by apologizing. I'm not here to put my country down. I understand that might not be your intention. but you have achieved just that. Now, I need you to understand, I'm not victim blaming. There's no part of my analysis or expression of my opinion that would blame Natasha. It's just that there is an effect. When a family takes their internal problems to a court, we have a problem at the family level. Doesn't matter what the problem is. If it makes its way to a court of law, it says more about the family than about the case. No matter what comes out of that case, no matter who emerges victorious, what the court gets is that this is a problematic family. It says more about our country than it does about her case. I'm not saying that she shouldn't have. I'm just saying that we fail to use all the opportunities available to us to resolve this inside. And now, our dirty boxers washed outside. I've used it many times. Give the men a chance. Boxers can be dirty too. There are multiple conflict resolution channels available to family members. And all the ones we had, I say had because I'm not quite sure about their existence, including and especially the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and the very long sentence, which is a mouthful, somehow, by public perception, did not do justice to this case. And so what happened? A family member has run to court. And you know what happens in court? You know who is in court? Everybody who is not a family member. This does not mean that we should shield the problems we have, that we should not tackle it. But it means that internal mechanisms should have been deployed first. And honestly, it's more of a problem of the entire country than it is for Natasha. The move says more about our country, Nigeria, than it speaks to injustice to Natasha. Now, what is the IPU? It's an international organization of national parliaments. Its primary purpose is to promote democratic governance, accountability, and cooperation among its members. And that particular seating was women in parliament. So just like Natasha, other women from other parts of the world that were members of a parliament were seated there. And you see, her case is going to open some scrutiny. People will now look at it. And then they will discover that a parliament, a House of Senate that has 109 members, has only 4 females. And they will ask questions. That the population of over 250 million. Yes, we're over 250 million, even though we've not had a census in a while. Has only 4 women representing them at the Senate. And guess what? This is March. International Women's Day was literally a few minutes ago. So at this time that there's a lot of attention to the plight of women and gender equity is at the front burner, a female senator was suspended for 6 months. Her privileges taken away in what seemed like an unfair and unjust attempt at silencing her. She's not wrong. It really does seem that way. Now, the IPU says they will hear from the other side as well. Before they come to a conclusion, they will do their best. And it raises questions about the sovereignty of this country. This is a sovereign state. If we're having people from outside come to settle family problems inside Nigeria, you want to ask questions. If they are inviting our Senate president, who should be presiding over the Senate and deliberating the ayes have it, to come and answer, sir, did you harass or did you not harass? I mean, I would want innocence proven and justice done to this case, but I don't want to see my Senate president answering those kind of questions on an international scene, not because I'm scared of what I will find out, but Nigerians did not sign up for that. So our dirty boxers is washed in public, on international stage, on a global stage. So it's an international wash. So here we are. This is what has become of us because it was not handled properly. Because whether or not the Senate meant well, the handling of Natasha's case did not go well, regardless of intention. it did not seem or sound like justice, even if Natasha were a man. Now, it's not just a gender thing. Yes, it does sound pitiful that it's a woman. The tag of oppression rings louder. But even if Natasha were a man, the sanctions given to her did not seem fair. The same way Nigerians cried when Ningi made allegations of budget padding, and the response of the same Senate was to suspend him. I guess he didn't come to Ningi's mind. He would have also run to United Nations. Say, he's too much. I just made an allegation. I have been suspended. My security has been taken. My cars, my privileges. What shall I do? And he served out his suspension and went back to the house. It doesn't make it right. But this should be a call to families, to parliaments, to people, to Nigerians, if we can settle problems internally, because you don't want to hear your matter outside. Because outsiders do not know the family as well as you do. And when the hearing is happening, the people who will be there to bear witness will be outsiders. Oh my goodness, it's not just about justice, but it's justice at the market square. That all the kinsmen that could have been called, all the uncles that could have been summoned, the countless family meetings that should have brought some justice, somehow this case defied all of them. And it's now on the international scene. It's now in the market square. It's now in the court of law. I mean, nothing might come of this, but I just do not like that we're making headlines for this reason. Because of all the things attached to the name Nigeria, something that might be added is that country where they don't let women speak. The life of Nigerian women is oppressed to proportions beyond comprehension. Well, as the media, as a people, and as citizens of this country, will continue to follow the story, and hopefully it takes us to a place where we're partially satisfied with what we find. Well, going from that controversy to another one. It happened today, and that is one of the biggest political figures in this country making statements. Who might that be, you will ask? It's none other than the FCT Minister. He has described as useless the letter written to the Rivers State House of Assembly by Governor Fubara. Recall that the governor's letter was seeking an audience with the lawmakers over the implementation of the verdict of the Supreme Court on political affairs of the state. But during a chat with journalists in Abuja, the FCT Minister said, who is a former Rivers governor, said the Assembly Speaker Martin Amehule and other lawmakers in the Rivers Assembly are not Governor Fubara's boys and should be accorded some respect.
All these letters you are writing is useless. You are not sincere. You are playing to the gallery. Everybody knows you are not sincere. A true politician will not do that way. Let me tell you, Mr. President was to present budget to the National Assembly. Assembly people were not happy for one thing or the other. We met in ESCO and they said, they've shifted it to the next social day. Why? He had to meet with leadership to agree some gray area.
The FCT Minister also said instead of inviting members of the House through a public letter, Governor Fubara should have called Mr. Amehule and his team via the phone and agreed on a date and time for a meeting. The FCT Minister said Governor Fubara is not sincere. Well, Minister Wike, if only you know what our conversation for 4 p.m. is today. It seems some calls happened and meeting could not happen. Well, people have shared this sentiment. A lot of people have talked about how they are not in support of the letter. They've criticized the governor. People have held dissenting views even on this platform. They've said all that Wike has said, maybe with a different choice of words. But why is this one making headlines? It's because of who said it. Because of who said it. Ezebunwo Nyesom Wike, the former governor of Rivers State, the predecessor of the current governor, one of the most popular ministers in the country, one of the most influential characters of his party, the PDP. And many would say he's a man at the heart of the political crisis in Rivers State. So when he says what everyone says, it makes headlines. And guess what? It makes the big stories on Hard Facts and Nigeria Info. What do you make of Wike's assertion? We've talked about Natasha taking the case to the United Nations and the IPU. We just talked about the FCT Minister criticizing Fubara's letter. And coming up next, 68 million Nigerians have been captured in the social register. 68 million poor Nigerians. I'd like to get your thoughts. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06-416. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. You can watch, listen, and engage. Please ensure to turn off your radio as you call, and that you can make all the sense. Yes, indeed you can. Pius is my first call from Yenogwa. Good afternoon, Pius.
Good afternoon, my dear Oracle.
Okay, my dear Pius, good afternoon.
Yeah. To me, sometimes we blame people too much. We conclude on matters too much. If former governor and the senator, that is the man of Siriake Dixie, is head of that ethics committee, I don't think nothing will go wrong. At the end of this case now, you will find out that this lady contravened, and before she has take this thing to court, why not she take this thing to the ethics first and let them discuss in the house first, that committee first? She now take it to an external body, the whole world now, the whole matter.
Pius, it is a failure of the ethics committee that has led her here. She did take it to everywhere.
No, to the court now. That is why they said she accused Fabio of sexual harassment. To the court now.
She went to court.
Yes.
Yes, she went to court.
Something of this nature. Why not bring it this way so that we discuss this thing? You first of all take it to the court. Before now, the ethics now invite her and hear everything and hear the witness and everybody here, there and there. You know that Dixon is a man of ethics.
Okay. Thank you, Pius. I think I'll have to stick to my 1 minute 30 seconds. 60 seconds is unrealistic. Natasha went everywhere she was supposed to, right? And it is for lack of what would be termed a fair hearing that she has gone to where she went to. So as far as seeking justice internally goes, she did as much as she could. I just spoke to the effect of her actions. I have nothing against it. Joseph from Eleme. Hello, Joseph. Good afternoon.
Yes, Mr. Oracle. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Can you speak up, please?
Yes. In the issue of Natasha, they said that they did not handle the matter properly. I would have thought that they would have asked the Senate President and probably you to step aside while they attend to the matter. They would have scrutinized, go deeply into this matter and see who is responsible, who is wrong or who is right, and ensure that the matter should be withdrawn from court. But they did not do the needful. They just went ahead and took action against this woman. It is unfair. But on the number, the figure we just read out about the poorest of the poor, I am yet to come to the understanding of how the federal government arrived at this figure. Is it by when did they carry out sense of or registration of the poorest of poor to arrive at this particular figure? Is it the task that they did in feeding schools to still with this particular understand whereby the governor the federal government should be commanded to the number one a man in the state or executive governor of the state? It is unfair. Whatever is good today, whosoever will succeed this man will still range from this particular impunity. So we should tread with caution. That's my take.
Joseph, hold on. I'd like to ask you, do you identify as the poorest of the poor in Nigeria?
Any man that is earning below $1 per international region is the poorest of the poor.
So do you earn below that?
That is the way I look at it.
Okay. Thank you. I thought your concern was that they've not counted you, so I wanted to be sure that I understood your position. Chima from Rumokuta, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Oracle.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I heard the FCT Minister speak in so much vivacity. And when I heard him, I now saw a man of irreproachable character. Now, everything that he said here is just completely the truth. It's just that the governor of Rivers State really wants time to attract some kind of cheap sympathy. You understand? And that is, Rivers people haven't really understood that he is blackmailing us. Now you wrote a letter to persons that you want to be in unity with, that ordinarily you're supposed to work in pari passu. Is that how it's being done? You wrote a letter to them, and you didn't even give to them, unless you put it on social media. You understand? When we're talking about the legislative and executive and judiciary, we're not talking about it. But whenever you don't want to do something, and you have something off your sleeve, and you felt that maybe you could not do it so that you're gaining sympathy from the public. That is the way you will go. Now, is it not so indespicable of the governor to have treated the assembly member at that manner? Okay, if you see what happened today, I don't know where it is in your news, that he went to the assembly quarters to go and present the budget. You wrote them letter yesterday. Won't the assembly sit to discuss your letter? And maybe do they sit every day? Did you have a respondent that they received the letter? It's a slight to River people. Even at this point in time, you're still holding River people as if they don't know what they are doing.
All right, Chima.
You went and you get it lost. There was no business happening there, and all you could do is to hold a public conference.
Thank you very much. That's 1 minute, 30 seconds. Kokigam from Rumelimini, good afternoon.
Sam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sam, Natasha, and taking a matter to United Nations. I look at it, that is the best way. Sam, if I have a brother, he talk to him in the kitchen, he refuses. He comes to the bedroom and talk to him, he refuses. He go to the room, he refuses. Take it outside now. Maybe they get it from outside. What Natasha is doing is what she will do.
Must he hear you?
The allegation is too many. Because what it is that woman, for me, is to silence her voice. Instead that have 109, only 4 is women, and I remove one again, remaining 3. What I say to the world? That this country is not gender friendly. So let's start taking a matter to go war. I will support her. If I have a to support her, I will support her to take the matter to any part of the world to make sure she seeks justice for her. This thing. For Governor Wike, that says us that Governor Wike is not serious. For me, the judgment. I write to them. I want to come and to who is defeating who. So I don't know what in this case that I'm judge now. The government are going to see them. They lost the place. I ran away today.
Just
the government
about
is doing the best to make sure put it
the time. In this case, dirty boxers exposed outside, not washed. It would have been a consolation if it would be washed. That's a comment on WhatsApp. You didn't give your name, but you gave your thoughts. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Mr. Oracle. My name is Comrade Odiadi God's Power from Ususu. Okay. Ahoda West local government area. In the beginning, Governor Fubara asked former Governor Wike and his boys, what is my offense? Up till now, no answer. Instead, Supreme Court said, recognize Martin and co. Resume budget. What a shameful country, he says. And Imao Taka says, can you imagine the insult given to the governor of the state? By locking the gate against him, those who feel the state belongs to them should know the power. That power is transient, and what goes up will definitely come down. Let them, the State Assembly, go ahead and execute their clandestine plot. Imao Taka says. Chima calls from Orazi. Good afternoon, Chima.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sam.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Sam, on the issue of Natasha, I think she has done well. There is nothing like bringing out, exposing your country. I don't see anything that's wrong with what she has done. I can tell you.
Okay.
The ethics committee failed to do their job, and I am surprised that Akpabio will be in the mix of where ethics committee are deciding whatever. And at the end of the day, they decided to return her petition on the ground that she signed the petition. I mean, I don't understand the whole thing. So you don't expect her to keep quiet. So she has done the needful. You understand? So that is that for me. On the issue of our assembly and the former governor, Sam, it was a shameful thing. Honestly, that was exactly when I was passing through that assembly quarter. The governor was outside, and the assembly's members were inside, I can tell you. They were all inside. Nobody talked to the governor. They shut the gate. And this, I tell you, one thing I will tell them finally, Sam, you assembly, you have a right to obey whoever that you're loyal to, since you are no longer loyal to people. But remember one thing, the people deserve a right to recall you. That is my word. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Angel calls from Rupoku. Okay. We've lost that call. I believe we have a few messages on. I was listening to Nigeria very much. Caleb Abinoye, former governor Wike, should know that he's not God. Now that Governor Fubara has gone to assembly quarters and they locked him outside, the whole world, especially the Supreme Court, should see that Wike and the 27 lawmakers do not want peace and interest of Rivers State. Ricardo Icon, still on Facebook, says, the way we run Nigeria is like monkey kingdom. Okay. Senator Natasha's case is not good to hear. Okay. Ochuko says, Senator Natasha is a rare gem. Her boldness and courage is admirable. Others should help bring our legs outside. Maybe that's when we can clearly be washed properly. Remember, not God. And Inseka Samuel says it's hard. Seriously. Let's pray we don't have a case with someone who's very inconsiderate. Honestly, it can be very difficult. We have never had a good Senate since 1999. I'm disappointed with the punishment handed to her. It's really shameful. Once you speak against the Senate, you're in trouble. Bernard from Port Harcourt. All right, Bernard, thank you very much. And the next comment reads, good afternoon. The country called Nigeria is visibly corrupt. How can a case of sexual harassment be treated in a corrupt way by corrupt personalities? In the same country, Akpabio, the suspect and now Senate leader, would have been suspended or sanely resigned. Can we recall the case of Joy, who slapped the now senator when he was in NDDC? Did Akpabio slap her back? This is a serial case, and we lay on something serious. I'm ashamed of my country. Koroma Godwin Chooks from Erema community. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
My name is Job.
All right.
I want to talk about the Natasha issue. Natasha is for the simple reason of what she said, not because of her emotional outburst. She said Akpabio ought to recuse himself also.
Yeah.
But the Senate President didn't do so.
True.
They judged only her and suspended only her. What about the Senate President? Nothing came of that. Nothing else of Nigeria. Little things like this shouldn't be swept under the carpet. Consider the case of Bill Clinton of America. America looked thoroughly into that case and got out something from it. Bill Clinton came out openly and apologized. Then I saw the letter. Let us put this straight to Rivers State. We are not embarrassing Fubara. We are embarrassing the entire state. We are making our own governor a caricature. He is the number one leader of the state. Why should he wrote a letter? He's writing a letter for us to come to a round table to make peace, the wrong thing again. Even if he didn't write it wrong, even if he wrote it wrong, he can still repeat it. There must be room for peace in this state. You cannot be sorry that Fubara has been recalcitrant and is not obeying the rule of law. Now the man is ready to obey the rule of law. Why don't we bring peace? I don't know what really helps. Thank you.
Thank you much. I've heard from too much that God will power held the state is power in the state. Well, this is as far as we can go on the research. Comes down. Let's talk. We have this news. Then we dive deep into the conversation about the restriction of access to the assembly quarters by the assembly members. Stay with us.